Alright, so let's get back to our backtest model. So let's define the trend day inside the strategy class, and the trend day is equal to numpy.where. So if the short-term moving average is more than the long-term moving average, then we return 1. Otherwise, we have the numpy.where again. Otherwise, if the SMAV is less than the LMAV, then we return -1. 1 is up and -1 is going down. Otherwise, it's 0. So let me change the SMAV to strategy class.SMAV. Oops. SMAV, and SMAV is a method. So we need a bracket, and we do the same to the LMAV. Okay, so we do the same for the strategy class.SMAV bracket and a strategy class for the LMAV, so LAMV. So just be careful with the spelling. Okay, and we return self dot trend day. We're going to add one more column that's called trend day to see what we get. Actually, in real case, you don't really need to show. Okay, so I'm just showing you here. So it's equal to the strategy class S strategy class trend day function. So it's a bracket because it's a function. So let's run again. Okay, shift enter. So this time we get this. Actually, let me print this one. I just press 80 to 30. Shift enter. So when SMAV is lower than LMAV, we define this as a down day. Okay, so let's look up for a up day. Okay, so let's press F 35 to 55. Shift enter. We have SMAV more than the long-term moving average, then we have 1. Okay, so next we need to compare today's trend day and last day's trend day. When it returns 0, it's a change of trend. So we need to define the previous trend day. So usually I'll do trend day because we just add the prefix to trend day, that is the one that we already create. So that's my convention. Easy to manipulate your string, and we use the previous trend day equals, we use the numpy.where again. When we start calculating the moving average, we are going to shift 1 day back up to get the previous end day. Otherwise, it returns 0. So let's change that by strategy class dot condition, which is this one. Strategy, self-pointing to strategy condition, which is when we start calculating from the 20th day, the long-term moving average, then we are going to use the numpy.roll by 1 day, and we are rolling which column? We are rolling the strategy.trend day. It is a method, so we use the bracket. Okay, otherwise it returns 0. So let's return self.previous trend day. So let's add one more, the previous trend day equals strategy.previous trend day, and then shift enter. So let's just pick another day, 85 to 125. Shift enter. Okay, so we have this. May 7th, 2010 is a down day, and the day after, when we move to the next trade day, which is May 10th, then we look back, we have this -1. When we look back, we have this 1. So that's why when -1 plus 1, which is also -1 plus previous trend, which is 1, then we get 0. Then we know on May 7th, 2010, we will have 0. We have change of trend. So whenever this row, -1 plus 1 equals 0, or +1 plus -1, let me see if we have, this one, June 1st, +1 plus the previous day's -1, we get 0. So we know this is a change of trend. That's why we need to create a difference between trend day, and this is just the diff trend day equals strategy class dot trend day, which is today's day. It is a method, so we need a bracket plus strategy dot previous trend day. We just return self dot diff trend day. Print that out. We just add one more column, previous difference trend day equals strategy dot diff trend day is a method. So shift enter. So we trend day. So it is down today on May 7th, and it was up on May 6th. So we get 0, the difference. And we will generate a signal 1. You may ask why we calculate it and we're not directly going to signal class. Because in complex systems, we just want to separate these things. The strategy, these are the attributes from the strategy class. We just want to separate these from the signal class, because you may mix different strategies into one signal. That's my setup. In this case, it's a little bit straightforward. Okay, so let's take a break